Dr. Namgil Park stared at the strange readings on his computer screen. The quantum energy detector in his lab was showing patterns he had never seen before. He rubbed his tired eyes and checked the time. 2:30 a.m. The soft hum of machines filled the quiet laboratory in the South Korean research facility. "This can't be right," he muttered, adjusting his glasses. The energy readings were getting stronger. Whatever was causing them was getting closer to Earth. He reached for his phone to call his research partner, but before he could dial, all the lights in the lab went out. A moment later, the emergency power kicked in, bathing everything in dim red light. "Dr. Park." The door burst open as his assistant, Mirai Cho, rushed in. Her lab coat was wrinkled, and her short black hair was messy from running. "You need to see this." She didn't wait for his response but grabbed the remote control and turned on the wall-mounted TV. Every news channel showed the same image: massive ships hovering over major cities around the world. They weren't human ships. They couldn't be. Each one was the size of a small city, with a dark metallic surface that seemed to swallow light itself. They hung in the sky like silent storm clouds, making no sound, taking no action. "The quantum energy readings," Namgil said quietly. "They were coming from these ships." The door opened again, and security personnel entered the lab. "Dr. Park, Ms. Cho, please come with us." Commander Kim's orders. Commander Hae-Newell Kim stood in the Global Defense Initiative's underground command center, studying the massive wall of screens before her. Each one showed a different alien ship over a different city: Seoul, Tokyo, New York, London, Moscow, Beijing. The room was filled with the quiet buzz of people working at their stations, their voices tight with tension. "What's their status?" she asked, her voice steady despite the situation. "Still no movement or communication, Commander," reported Captain Sun-Mi Lee from her station. The young captain's fingers flew over her keyboard as she monitored the situation. "They're just waiting." Hae-Newell nodded slowly. She had trained for many scenarios in her military career, but first contact with an alien civilization hadn't been one of them. Not really. Sure, there were protocols, but seeing actual alien ships in the sky made all those protocols seem inadequate. The doors slid open, and Dr. Park entered with his assistant. Hae-Newell had specifically requested the quantum physicist's presence. His research might help them understand what they were dealing with. "Dr. Park," she greeted him. "What can you tell us about these ships?" Namgil stepped closer to the screens, studying the readings displayed on them. "The energy signature they're giving off. It's similar to what we've been trying to achieve in our quantum energy research, but on a scale that's—" He paused, searching for the right word. "Overwhelming." "Are they hostile?" Hae-Newell asked directly. "I don't know," Namgil admitted, "but their technology is far beyond ours. These ships could probably—" Before he could finish, every screen in the command center flickered. A face appeared. At least, they thought it was a face. It had a vaguely humanoid shape, but its skin was a pale blue, and its eyes were completely black. When it spoke, its words were automatically translated into various human languages. "Primitive species of Earth," the alien began, its voice carrying a metallic undertone. "I am High Commander Vex of the Aldarian Empire. Your world has been chosen as a strategic location in our war against the Centaurian Alliance. Submit to our authority, and you may survive as our subjects. Resist, and you will be eliminated." Hae-Newell stepped forward. "This is Commander Hae-Newell Kim of Earth's Global Defense Initiative. We wish to discuss this peacefully. Earth has no quarrel with either the Aldarian Empire or the Centaurian Alliance." The alien's black eyes seemed to stare right through her. "Peaceful discussion. With primitives who haven't even achieved basic interstellar travel. Your species still relies on crude fossil fuels and primitive nuclear fission. Your most advanced quantum research is childish by our standards." Namgil felt his face grow hot at these words. His life's work, dismissed as primitive in seconds, but something about the alien's attitude bothered him. They were making assumptions about Earth's technology based on very limited information. Your civilization clearly has no understanding of efficient energy management, Vex continued. Your cities waste power, your vehicles are inefficient, and your weapons are laughably basic. We expected more from this sector, but clearly this will be a simple conquest. Hanul kept her voice calm. High Commander Vex, I urge you to reconsider. We may surprise you. The alien made a sound that might have been a laugh. Surprise us. With what? Your primitive projectile weapons, your basic computer systems, your limited space presence. We have studied your world for months. We know exactly what you're capable of. The screens went dark for a moment, then returned to showing the ships. But something had changed. Smaller vessels were now emerging from the larger ships. They're launching attack craft, Sun Mai reported, her voice tense. Hundreds of them. They're heading for military installations first. Hanul turned to her communications officer. Send the alert. All bases, all units. This is not a drill. She looked at Namgil. Doctor, I need you to tell me everything you know about their energy systems. Even if your research is primitive by their standards, it might give us an edge. Namgil nodded, his mind already racing. The aliens had made their first mistake. They had assumed that Earth's apparent technological limitations were due to inability rather than choice. They didn't understand that humans had deliberately focused on different paths of development. While the Aldarians had pursued raw power and scale, humans had worked on miniaturization and efficiency. While they had built massive energy-hungry ships, Earth had developed precise, efficient systems. Their computers might be more powerful, but Earth's systems were more adaptable and diverse. The first explosions lit up the sky outside. The war had begun, and Earth's supposed primitive status was about to be tested. Naira grabbed Namgil's arm. Doctor, the quantum containment project. Could we modify it? Namgil's eyes widened as he understood what she was suggesting. The project they had been working on. It wasn't as powerful as Aldarian technology, but it was more stable, more precise. And maybe, just maybe, that would matter more than raw power. Commander, he said, turning to Hanul, I need to get back to my lab. Now. And I need every bit of data you can give me about their ship's energy signatures. Hanul studied him for a moment, then nodded. Take Captain Lee with you. She's our best analyst. She might see patterns in their attack strategies that could help. As Namgil hurried out with Sun Mai and Mayray, he could hear Hanul giving orders to coordinate Earth's defense. The Aldarians thought they were attacking a primitive world, easy to conquer. They were about to learn that primitive was a matter of perspective. Outside, the first battles were beginning. Aldarian fighters swooped down from their massive ships, expecting to find easy targets. Instead, they encountered Earth's own aircraft, smaller, more agile, and piloted by humans who had spent centuries perfecting the art of aerial combat in atmosphere. The aliens had superior technology, yes, but they had never fought in an atmosphere like Earth's. They had never dealt with weather patterns, with terrain that could hide ground forces, with an enemy that knew every mountain and valley of their world. In his lab, Namgil pulled up his research data. Mireille, get the containment field online. Captain Lee, I need you to analyze their attack patterns. There might be something in their ship movements that tells us about their power systems. Sun Lee nodded, her fingers already flying over a keyboard. Their formations are rigid, she observed. They're not adapting to our counterattacks. They're just pushing forward with brute force. Because they don't think they need to adapt, Mayray said as she activated the quantum containment field. They think we're primitive, remember? Namgil smiled grimly. Then let's show them what primitives can do. Captain Lee, look at these energy readings. See how their ship's power signatures pulse. They're using massive amounts of energy, but in a fixed pattern. It's wasteful, inefficient, and predictable. Sun Li finished, her eyes lighting up with understanding. If we can time our attacks to match their power fluctuations, The building shook as an explosion went off nearby. Through the lab's windows, they could see Aldarian fighters engaging with Earth's aircraft. An alien ship, sleek and powerful, dove toward a human jet. The jet, smaller and seemingly outmatched, suddenly dropped altitude, turned in a way the alien ship couldn't match, and sent a missile straight into the enemy's engines. "They're learning," Sunmai said, watching the battle. "Our pilots are already adapting to their patterns." Namgil turned back to his work. The quantum containment field was humming steadily now, its energy signature a stark contrast to the wasteful pulses of the Aldarian ships. Where they used brute force, his system used precision. Where they wasted energy, his conserved it. Mayray, adjust the field frequency. Captain Lee, can you get me a direct feed of their ship movements? I have an idea. As they worked, more explosions lit up the sky. The Aldarians were finding out the hard way that primitive didn't mean weak. It didn't mean helpless. And most importantly, it didn't mean stupid. Earth's first day of interstellar war was just beginning, and humanity's supposed primitive status was about to become their greatest advantage. Because sometimes, the simple solution was the best solution. And sometimes, being underestimated was the greatest advantage of all. Namgil looked at his quantum containment field, then at the alien ships in the sky. "They want to see what primitives can do," he muttered. "Well, let's show them." The war had begun, and Earth's journey from primitive to powerful was about to change the galaxy forever. 3 days into the war, Earth's cities still stood. This fact alone frustrated High Commander Vex of the Aldarian Empire. He had expected the primitive humans to fall quickly, but something was wrong. Very wrong. In his massive command ship above Seoul, Vex watched another squadron of his fighters fail to breach the city's defenses. The human aircraft were smaller and less advanced, but they moved in ways his pilots couldn't predict. They used the clouds for cover, disappeared between buildings, and struck from unexpected angles. "Impossible," he muttered, his black eyes narrowing. "They're nothing but primitives." In the underground laboratory, Dr. Namgil Park hadn't slept in 2 days. Empty coffee cups littered his desk, but his eyes were bright with excitement. Captain Sunmai Lee sat beside him, studying battle data on her screens, while Mirai Cho adjusted their modified quantum containment field. "Look at this," Namgil said, pointing to his screen. "Every time their ships fire their main weapons, there's a power surge. They're using brute force, pushing massive amounts of energy through their systems." Sun Mi nodded, understanding. "It's like they're using sledgehammers to crack eggs. All that wasted energy." "Exactly." Namgil pulled up another display. "But our quantum field doesn't waste energy. It's precise, controlled. And that's why this might work." The door opened, and Commander Hae-Nul Kim entered. Her uniform was wrinkled, and dark circles showed under her eyes, but she stood straight and alert. "Report, Dr. Park. Can your system protect our cities?" Namgil stood up. "Better than that, Commander. We can turn their own power against them." "Mirai, show them." Mirai activated the quantum field. A gentle blue glow filled a testing chamber where a captured piece of Aldarian technology lay. When she triggered the alien device, its energy pulse hit the quantum field and bounced back. "Their weapons use massive energy bursts," Namgil explained. "But our quantum field can catch that energy and redirect it, like a martial artist using an attacker's strength against them." Hae-Nul's eyes widened. "Can we scale this up? Protect whole cities?" "We're working on it," Mayray said. "The math works. We just need more power and better control systems." "That's where I come in," said a new voice. A young man entered the lab, carrying a laptop. It was Ta-Wan Choi, the computer engineer Hae-Nul had assigned to the project. "I've been studying their computer systems. Everyone, you need to see this." Ta-Wan connected his laptop to the main screen. "The Aldarians think our computers are primitive because they're not as powerful as theirs. But look at this." He pulled up two diagrams, one of an Alderian computer system, one of Earth's. Their systems are like massive highways, he explained. Lots of lanes, very fast, but rigid. They can only go in preset directions. Our systems are like city streets, smaller, but with many more paths and connections. We can adapt, route around problems, find new ways to solve things. Sunlight leaned forward. That's why their ships can't adapt to our tactics. Their computers can't process unexpected situations fast enough. Exactly. Taiwan grinned. And here's the best part. They tried to hack our military networks, but they failed. Our primitive systems are so different from theirs that their viral weapons don't work properly. It's like trying to give a human virus to a tree. Hanul absorbed this information. So we're not primitive. We just developed differently, focused on efficiency and adaptation instead of raw power. And that's our advantage, Namgil said. They don't understand how we think, how we solve problems. They see our technology and assume we're simple, but simplicity can be strength. A loud alarm interrupted them. On the main screen, they saw more Alderian ships entering Earth's atmosphere. These were different, larger, heavily armed. Their second wave, Hanul said grimly. They're escalating. Good, Sunmai said, surprising everyone. The bigger they are, the more energy they waste, and the more energy we can turn against them. Namgil turned to his team. Mirai, start scaling up the quantum field. Taiwan, I need you to design a control system that can handle city-wide protection. Captain Lee, keep analyzing their attack patterns. Commander, we'll need every bit of power the city can give us. As they worked, the first of the new Alderian ships reached Seoul. It was massive, its weapons glowing with built-up energy. But this time, Earth was ready. Hidden anti-aircraft guns, smaller but more precise than anything the Alderians had seen, opened fire. Human fighters rose to meet them, using the city's geography in ways the aliens couldn't match. And in his lab, Namgil watched his quantum field readings climb. They're charging their main weapon, Sunmai reported, watching the enemy ship. Perfect. Namgil said. Mirai, prepare the field. Taiwan, route power to the central containment grid. The Alderian ship fired. A massive burst of energy that could have leveled downtown Seoul. But when it hit Namgil's quantum field, something beautiful happened. The energy didn't destroy the city. Instead, it was caught, contained, and redirected. The alien ship's own power turned against it, sending it spinning out of control. As it fell from the sky, Hanul turned to Namgil. How many of these shield systems can we build? With Taiwan's control systems and enough power, we could protect every major city. But that's not all. Namgil's eyes sparkled with excitement. We're learning from their technology, Commander. Every attack teaches us more about how their systems work, and we're not just copying, we're improving. In the sky above, more human fighters engaged the alien ships. They were learning, adapting, finding new ways to fight. Earth's weapons might have been smaller, but they were smarter, more precise, more efficient. The Alderians had made a crucial mistake. They had assumed that Earth's different approach to technology meant the humans were primitive. They hadn't understood that humans had chosen their path deliberately, focusing on efficiency over power, adaptation over brute force. Now that mistake was costing them dearly. Every failed attack taught the humans more. Every captured piece of technology gave them new insights. Earth's primitive technology was evolving, combining the best of human innovation with what they learned from their enemies. In the command center, Hanul watched the battle unfold. Send word to all defense forces, she ordered. The quantum shield technology is working. Tell them to hold on. Help is coming. Sunma studied her battle data. Commander, look at this. The Alderians. They're starting to retreat. Their big ships are pulling back. They're confused, Taiwan said, looking up from his computer. Their battle computers can't process what's happening. We're not fighting the way their simulations predicted. Namgil smiled tiredly. Good. Let them be confused. Let them wonder how their superior technology is being defeated by primitives. Outside, the sun was rising over Seoul. The city had survived another night, protected by technology that the Eldarians had dismissed as primitive. But Earth's warriors and scientists weren't celebrating yet. They knew this was just the beginning. The real test would come when the Eldarians realized their mistake, when they understood that humanity's different path of development wasn't a weakness, but a strength, when they finally recognized that primitive was just another word for different. But by then, it might be too late for them, because Earth's awakening had begun, and humanity was proving that sometimes the simplest solutions were the most powerful ones of all. Mayray looked at the quantum field readings, then at her mentor. Dr. Park, what do you think they'll try next? Namgil's answer was interrupted by new alarms. On their screens, they saw more Eldarian ships arriving. Hundreds of them, filling the sky. They're angry now, Sunmai said quietly. We've embarrassed them. No, Hae-Nul corrected her. We've surprised them, and surprised enemies make mistakes. She turned to her team. Get ready, everyone. The real war is about to begin. As if to prove her words, the sky lit up with the energy signatures of charging Eldarian weapons. But this time, Earth's defenders didn't feel fear. They had found their strength, understood their power, and realized that being different didn't mean being primitive. The awakening of humanity's potential had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. 2 weeks into the war, Admiral Yoon Hee Kang stood on the bridge of Earth's first hybrid warship, the Phoenix. The ship looked small compared to the Eldarian vessels, but its hull contained humanity's newest secrets. Dr. Park's quantum technology merged with captured Eldarian systems in ways that even the aliens hadn't thought possible. Status report, Yoon Hee ordered, her voice calm despite the tension in the air. The Phoenix floated high above Earth, hidden from Eldarian sensors by its hybrid stealth systems. All systems running at optimal efficiency, reported the ship's engineer, Tai-Won Choi. He had insisted on being part of the first crew, wanting to see his modified control systems in action. The quantum core is stable, power distribution is perfect. Lieutenant Jin Ho-Baek, their tactical officer, looked up from his station. Admiral, the Eldarian fleet is moving into position. They're gathering for another mass attack. Yoon Hee allowed herself a small smile. Just as we predicted. They still think bigger is better. In the underground command center, Commander Hae-Nul Kim watched multiple screens showing the gathering Eldarian fleet. Dr. Namgil Park and Captain Sunma Lee stood beside her, their faces lit by the blue glow of the displays. Their pride is making them predictable, Sunmai said, studying the enemy formations. They're angry that primitives have resisted them for so long. Now they want to crush us with one massive strike. Namgil nodded. They're gathering their biggest ships, their strongest weapons, and that's exactly what we wanted them to do. Hae-Nul touched her communicator. Admiral Kang, are you ready? The Phoenix is in position. Yoon Hee's voice came through clearly. All systems are green. Lieutenant Bak's team is ready for deployment. Remember, Namgil spoke up. The quantum shields can only redirect so much energy at once. Timing will be everything. High above them, Jin Ho checked his tactical display one last time. His special operations team had trained for weeks for this mission, learning to use their new hybrid equipment. Their suits looked simple compared to Eldarian battle armor, but they contained clever innovations that combined human ingenuity with alien technology. Team leaders, report in, Jin Ho called. Team 1, ready. The voice belonged to Sergeant Min-ji Ryu, her small squad hidden in position near one of the larger Eldarian ships. Team 2, standing by. Captain Dae-Sung-Oh's team waited on the other side of the enemy fleet. Jin Ho looked at Admiral Kang, who nodded. Begin Operation Reversal. The Phoenix moved silently through space, its hybrid engines running nearly silent. The ship's small size, once considered a weakness by the Aldarians, now made it incredibly hard to detect. Inside the ship, Taiwan's fingers flew over his console, managing the complex power systems that kept them hidden. The Aldarians are powering up their main weapons, Sun Mai reported from Earth. They're about to begin their attack. Perfect, Haynul said. All cities, activate quantum shields. Admiral Kang, you have permission to proceed. The massive Aldarian fleet moved into attack formation. Their ships glowed with building energy as they prepared to launch their biggest assault yet. High Commander Vex stood on his flagship's bridge, determined to end this embarrassing resistance once and for all. All ships, prepare to fire, he ordered. Show these primitives the true power of the Aldarian Empire. But just as the alien ships reached full power, something unexpected happened. Small, precise quantum pulses hit their power distribution systems, pulses that matched the exact frequency of their energy buildup. What's happening? Vex demanded as warning alarms blared across his ship. Jinho's voice came through the command channel. Teams 1 and 2, move in. Hit your targets. The human strike teams, using their hybrid suits, slipped through gaps in the Aldarian shields, gaps created by the power disruption. Their small size and precise movements made them almost impossible to track. Inside the alien ships, confusion turned to chaos. The humans weren't attacking with brute force. They were using small, precise strikes at key points. Every system they hit had been carefully chosen based on weeks of studying captured Aldarian technology. Admiral, Taiwan called out, their power grid is destabilizing. The quantum pulses are creating a cascade effect. Yoon-hee nodded, just as Dr. Park predicted. Their own energy is being turned against them. Lieutenant Baek signaled the teams to move to Phase 2. On Earth, Namgil watched the energy readings with satisfaction. They never understood why we chose to develop our technology the way we did. We learned long ago that bigger isn't always better. Efficiency, precision, adaptability. These are worth more than raw power. The Aldarian fleet's formation began to break apart as ship after ship lost power or spun out of control. Their mighty weapons, charged to full capacity, now worked against them as the human quantum technology redirected and amplified their own energy signatures. Team 1, target secured, Minji reported. Her squad had planted quantum resonators on one of the largest Aldarian ships. The devices were small, simple compared to alien technology, but devastatingly effective. Team 2, mission accomplished. Dae-sung's voice followed, moving to extraction points. The Phoenix moved through the chaos like a dancer, its small size now a crucial advantage. While the massive Aldarian ships struggled to maneuver, the human vessel slipped between them, picking up the strike teams and continuing its precise attacks. On his flagship's failing bridge, High Commander Vex watched in disbelief as his mighty fleet was torn apart not by overwhelming force, but by precisely targeted strikes from an enemy he had dismissed as primitive. How? He demanded. How are they doing this? The answer came from his own science officer. Sir, they're not just using our technology against us. They've improved it, made it more efficient, more precise. They took our designs and found ways to make them better. In the Earth Command Center, Haynul allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Send word to all defense forces. Operation Reversal is a success. Begin Phase 3. The quantum shields protecting Earth's cities suddenly shifted frequency, creating a massive energy web that trapped the remaining Aldarian ships. Their own weapons, still charged with enormous power, made them vulnerable to the quantum feedback loop that humans had designed. Admiral Kang, Haynul called, you may deliver our message. Yoon-hee's voice rang out across all channels, reaching every Aldarian ship. High Commander Vex, your attack has failed. Your fleet is trapped. But we offer you a choice. Surrender and work with us, or retreat and tell your empire that Earth is not to be underestimated. Namgil stepped forward. Tell them what we've learned from studying their technology. Show them how we can help them improve their systems. The command center fell silent as they waited for Vex's response. The Aldarian commander looked at his ruined fleet, at the small human ship that had orchestrated its defeat, and at the planet he had dismissed as primitive. Perhaps, he said slowly, we have something to learn from Earth after all. The counterstrike had succeeded, not through overwhelming force, but through clever adaptation and precise application of power. Humanity had proven that their path of technological development, while different from the galactic standard, was far from primitive. As the sun rose over Earth's cities, protected by their quantum shields, Admiral Kang looked at her crew. "Send word home," she ordered. "Tell them that the galaxy is about to learn a new definition of advanced technology." The war wasn't over, but its nature had changed. Earth had shown that sometimes the most advanced solution was also the simplest one. And the galaxy would never be quite the same again. 1 month after Operation Reversal, Earth's skies looked very different. The massive Aldarian warships were gone, replaced by sleeker vessels that combined the best of both human and alien technology. In orbit, the Phoenix floated beside ships from the Centaurian Alliance, who had arrived not to fight, but to learn. Dr. Namgil Park stood at the window of the new International Space Station, watching Earth rotate slowly below. Captain Sun Mei Li stood beside him, both of them dressed in the new hybrid uniforms that represented Earth's growing influence in galactic affairs. "Did you ever think we'd be here?" Sun Mei asked, gesturing at the alien ships visible through the window. "Teaching advanced alien civilizations about efficiency and innovation." Namgil smiled. "The funny thing is, we were never really primitive. We just saw problems differently. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best one." The door slid open, and Commander Haenul Kim entered with Admiral Yoon-hee Kang. Behind them came representatives from both the Aldarian Empire and the Centaurian Alliance. The aliens looked different now, more respectful, more willing to listen. "Dr. Park," Haenul said, "would you show our guests the new shield design?" Namgil nodded and moved to the holographic display in the center of the room. With a few gestures, he brought up the plans for Earth's latest innovation, a planetary defense system that used quantum mechanics in ways the aliens had never considered. "The key isn't power," he explained to the gathered aliens. "It's understanding. Your civilizations focused on making bigger, stronger systems. We focused on making them smarter, more efficient." The Centaurian representative, a tall being with silver skin, leaned forward. "Your quantum shields use less than a tenth of the energy our systems require, yet they're more effective. How is this possible?" "Because we had to be creative," Sun Mei answered. "Earth's resources are limited. We couldn't afford to waste energy, so we found better ways to use it." In another part of the station, Tai Wan Choi was showing alien engineers how Earth's computer systems worked. The aliens were amazed by the flexibility and adaptability of human programming. "Your systems can process multiple solutions to a problem at once," an Aldarian engineer said, watching Tai Wan's demonstration. "Our computers are faster, but they can only follow preset paths." "Exactly," Tai Wan replied. "We learned early on that the ability to adapt is more important than raw processing power. That's why your viral weapons couldn't affect our networks. We built them to change and evolve." Lieutenant Jin Ho-baek entered the room, fresh from training new human-alien joint defense teams. "The Aldarian pilots are finally starting to understand our combat techniques," he reported. "They're learning that precision beats power every time." Back in the main conference room, Haenul and Yoon-hee were discussing the terms of the new Galactic Concordat with the alien representatives. Earth was no longer seen as a primitive world to be conquered or protected. Instead, it was becoming a center for innovation and new thinking. "Your quantum shield technology has changed everything," the Aldarian representative admitted. "High Commander Vex has ordered all our ships to be retrofitted with your efficient systems." And the Centaurian Alliance wishes to establish a joint research facility on Earth, the silver-skinned alien added. Your people see solutions we never considered. Hanul looked at her team with pride. Earth is happy to share our knowledge. But we have conditions. No more wars of conquest. No more dismissing civilizations as primitive just because they develop differently. The meeting was interrupted by an alert. On the main screen, a new ship appeared. Unlike anything they had seen before, it was neither Aldarian nor Centaurian. First contact with another civilization. He announced. They're requesting permission to approach. Namgil studied the energy readings from the new ship. Their technology. It's completely different from anything we've seen. Not more powerful or less powerful, just different. Perfect, Hanul said. This is our chance to prove we've learned from our experience. Let's welcome them properly. As Earth's representatives prepared to greet the new arrivals, Namgil pulled up the quantum shield controls, not to defend against an attack, but to analyze and understand the newcomers' technology, to learn from them, just as they might learn from Earth. You know what's interesting? Sunmai said, watching the new ship approach. A month ago, we were the primitives. Now we're teaching advanced alien civilizations. And today, we're ready to learn from a completely new culture. Because we finally understood the truth, Namgil replied. There's no such thing as primitive technology. There are just different ways of solving problems. Sometimes the simple solution is the elegant one. Sometimes being efficient is more advanced than being powerful. On Earth below, cities were changing. Quantum shields hummed quietly, protecting the planet while using minimal power. Hybrid vehicles combined human efficiency with alien power sources. In laboratories and universities, humans and aliens worked together, learning from each other's approaches. The new ship drew closer, its unusual design suggesting a civilization that had taken yet another path of development. Earth's first hybrid defense fleet moved into position, not to threaten, but to protect and welcome. Send the greeting message, Hanul ordered. Let them know that Earth welcomes peaceful contact with all civilizations, regardless of their technological path. As the message was sent, Namgil looked at his quantum field readings. The new ship's energy signature was fascinating, not more or less advanced than Earth's technology, just beautifully different. You know what this means, he said to Sunmai. The galaxy is full of civilizations developing in their own ways. Some focus on power, some on efficiency, some on paths we haven't even imagined yet. And none of them are primitive. Sunmai finished. They're just different. And those differences make us all stronger. The new ship responded to Earth's greeting. As translations appeared on the screens, everyone in the station smiled. The newcomers, too, had been surprised to find such innovation in this part of space. Welcome to Earth, Hanul transmitted. We have much to learn from each other. As the sun rose over Earth once again, Namgil thought about how far they had come. From being dismissed as primitives to teaching advanced civilizations about efficiency and innovation. From facing conquest to helping shape a more peaceful galaxy. The war had taught them all a valuable lesson. True advancement wasn't about having the biggest ships or the most powerful weapons. It was about finding smart solutions, about being efficient and adaptable, about seeing problems from new angles. Earth's journey from primitive to revolutionary had changed the galaxy forever. And as the new ship docked with the station, bringing yet another unique perspective to share, Namgil knew that this was just the beginning. The age of learning had begun, and every civilization, no matter how different their path, had something valuable to teach. In the end, it turned out that being called primitive had been Earth's greatest advantage, because it had taught them the true meaning of being advanced.